Welcome to the Mr. Skin Podcast, your weekly dose of what's new and what's nude in movies, TV, and Hollywood's sexiest stars. Now get ready for your host, the world's foremost authority on celebrity nudity, Mr. Skin.
The legendary Mr. Skin.
Dude, Mr. Skin.
MrSkin.com.
Skin, everybody.
Coast to coast, from Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, it's the Mr. Skin Podcast with your hosts, Mr. Skin and Andrea Lowell. We want to hear from you. Call the show and leave us a voicemail at 484-SKIN-POD. Find all things Mr. Skin Podcast online at MrSkinPodcast.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Mr. Skin Podcast, proudly sponsored by Stream8.com, the global leader in live streaming, with the hottest porn stars and amateurs broadcasting live directly from their bedroom to yours. Stream8 creates a totally unique and intimate experience where you get to direct the show however you want. With an endless variety of performers, you're sure to find your perfect match on Stream8.com. The question is, are you ready? I'm ready. I'm always ready.
I'm ready, Andrea. Ready. You know, Stream8, I just wanted to say something about Stream8. Do you remember when we were in Las Vegas and we interviewed a bunch of Stream8 girls, and one of them was a girl named Kimmy Kaboom. Remember her with the big natural kaboomers?
Skin, I have no recollection of Kimmy Kaboom. Hello, that's like, I will never forget Kimmy Kaboom.
Yeah, well, she was a big favorite of mine, and we got to talking for research purposes only, Andrea. And she told me that she was a fan of the Lex and Terry show, which is a show I go on every Monday. It's a syndicated radio show based out of Dallas, but they're all over the country. So I just, in passing, when I was on the show, mentioned to those guys, hey, we interviewed this girl, Kimmy Kaboom. She's a Stream8, cam model and really hot. And she's a big fan of you guys. So I told them that, and just, they were, they thought it was cool. Well, next thing you know, I found out today, I was doing their show. Last week, they had Kimmy Kaboom on for a segment just to talk to her. So my point being, hanging out with us, now this cam girl got on a nationally syndicated radio show to sponsor Stream8 and herself. So it was it was cool.
That's crazy,
and they were into it.
Though.
Yeah. She's two of my all-time favorites, Kimmy Kaboom. I'm a big fan, and I was really happy for her because I thought she was really nice. And
she was so nice. But I'm kind of blown away because, having worked in radio for so long, the fact that like a terrestrial, nationally syndicated morning show would have a cam girl on is actually shocking to me. I love it. It's like everything's changing about the world, but 10 years ago, that would not have happened at all.
All I'm saying, Andrea, is it pays off to advertise on the Mr. Skin podcast, right?
Hell yes, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. And it's so funny too, because, I have fans personally from like a bunch of different places.
Yes.
And I'll be like on my health account, on social media, and I'll get like a comment that's like, love you on the Mr. Skin podcast.
Yeah. And you're like, oh God.
I'm like, oh, you found my wellness account.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
It's so funny. So yeah, the Mr. Skin podcast is the place to be, whether you're a host, you're an interviewee, you're a sponsor, or you're Skin himself.
Yeah. Well, it was cool. It was really cool. Andrew, I should tell you,
it is super cool, dude.
Very depressing here in Chicago today. It is snowing.
What?
Yeah.
In April,
I know you can't even relate to that. You don't even have a winter jacket, do you? Yeah.
No, I do. That coat that I wore in Vegas. I do have a coat that I travel
That's funny.
with.
Yeah. So we woke up this morning. The Cubs had their home opener. And the White Sox have an afternoon game, and it is snowing. The Cubs had to cancel. It's just like depressing. I was up early.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was just like, Jesus, April in Chicago. But it's supposed to warm up later this week, but whatever. So I'll maybe some
snows,
nudity will warm you up or me up,
I
guess. Of
course. It always does. That's the best way to turn that frown upside down. But when it rains, or when it snows rather, they actually cancel the games.
Well, it's just
I don't know. I know
a
nothing
combination
about
of snow and the temperature, and just they have an off day tomorrow, so they're moving. Their Cub game is moving to tomorrow. So,
wow.
It's just funny because I know you're. What is it there in LA? About 75, sunny, gorgeous.
Let's get the official. You know.
Yeah, you're doing this interview
you're not
from
gonna
your
believe
backyard.
This. It's 80 right now.
Yeah, go screw yourself. So, yeah. Yeah, it's 34 degrees and snowy in Chicago. So, yeah.
Oh, geez. You know what, though? It's like you always want what you don't have. Because I'm like, how lovely would it be to be around snow right now? You know? So, whatever, though.
Yeah. But, Andrew, I should mention there was a guy that before we start, I want to get into all the movie and television stuff. So, at our at MrSkinPodcast.com last week after the show, someone asked a question. His name is Edmund Korab. He said, are we ever going to see Andrea Lowell nude or topless in a movie again? And I think that's a good question because you have, of course, done nudity, and you're actually, you've done nude modeling, of course, and you've talked about it many times, but you're also at MrSkin.com, which is pretty cool, for the 2013 classic Sorority Party Massacre. You were also in National Lampoon's The Stone Age and Wild and Blue.
Wild and Blue is
remember that?
Favorite.
Yeah. So and the skinquiring minds want to know: are you ever going to do another nude scene?
Hell yeah, of course I will. Like,
okay.
I have no problem with nudity. Obviously, I don't. I've been posing nude since I turned 18. Yes. I wanted to be involved in anything that celebrates the human body. You know, I'm all about perpetuating freedom and liberation and all of that, as long as it's done with the right intention. And I've been in so many things, and I would love to do nudity. I think the older I get, the better my body is, actually. I will say, I'm kind of like that Marissa Tomei. It's like, I want to be 40 something, and I would love to be asked to do a nude scene.
Well, I was lucky enough to see you at Below Deck Mediterranean when we did the reality show, and I was, I was trying to act professional, but it's not to say I didn't enjoy seeing you and the other girls topless. And I have to say, Andrea, you're one of those girls that's going to look amazing into their 50s and 60s. So you definitely can have a Hall of Fame nudity career, and I believe that 100%. So
yeah, so the only reason there hasn't been more is because I've always been, I'll use the word actress with air quotes, because I've always, it's been a hobby. It's not my career.
Right.
So I get work when directors call me directly and ask, like, hey, are you available to, shoot a nude scene or this or that? Because they'll know I'll do it. And they know I'll do a good job, but I don't go around to auditions and try to be in stuff. So that's why it's very infrequent, and it's kind of random because I just don't pursue it. But yeah, if someone calls me and asks, the answer is yes.
Yeah, cool.
100%. And you and I talked a couple of weeks ago, Skin, about am I a cougar or a kitten, and I'm just dreading the day I get the call to, hey, will you play the cougar? Then I'll say yes, of course, but we'll see.
Yeah, you got a long way to go body wise. So
Thanks, darling.
We're not dreading that call, but maybe you are. But you have many years. You're the Marissa Tomei of the podcast here. So,
what would that make you? The Mickey Rourke?
Yeah, what does that make me? What does that make me? But anyway, so that's for Edmund Korab. Just wanted to answer your question. Thanks for. He actually posted this as a message on our podcast page, which was pretty cool. So I didn't even know it was there. The CP, the EP, let me know. So anyway,
on that point though, I'd like where can people find the podcast page? CP, can you turn your mic on and let people know how people can get a hold of us? Because we don't know.
Yes, the MrSkinPodcast.com.
Oh, so, easy. Okay.
MrSkinPodcast.com.
Yeah.
And there's a comment section. You can comment there, and also find our number, contact the show, email us, however you want to contact us, and we'll send out some swag.
Excellent. Yeah. 484 Skin Pod. If you want to leave a voicemail, then yeah, MrSkinPodcast.com for everything else. Awesome. All right. Let's get to it, Skin.
Yeah. So I have a lot. Last week, I focused entirely on television just because there was so much, because we had
so much.
Missed a week because I was on spring break with the Skin fam. But I'm going to do a combination of movie and television because there was some really good movie stuff over the last 2 weeks that I wanted to talk about. So let me start with movie nudity.
Cool.
And
let's do it.
There's a movie called The Last Movie Star, which my Skin Scouts had seen at Film Fest, but it was released on Blu-ray March 27th, a little over a week ago. And it's directed by Adam Rifkin. It stars Burt Reynolds. I know Clark Duke, Chevy Chase is in it. And Burt Reynolds plays an aging former movie star, and he's forced kind of to face the reality that his glory days are behind him. And by the way, I checked on this morning. I had no idea Burt Reynolds is 82 years old.
What?
I know. It just, I don't think of him. I mean, I know he's,
I mean, it makes sense, but it doesn't feel like it makes sense.
Yeah. And, anyway, it's just, it blew my mind. I did not know he was 82 years old, but, so anyway, The Last Movie Star, it's really about faded fame, and it's really a story about growing old. But anyway, the reason I'm talking about this movie is there's a really cool scene, and I really want you to see the pictures of this. So it's Ariel Winter is also in the movie. Now, you would know her as Alex Dunphy on Modern Family.
Okay.
She's 20 years old. She's been all over social media the last 2 years since she turned 18, posting tons of pictures of herself in, like Daisy Duke shorts,
bikinis, all of it. That's the only reason I know her.
Yeah,
I don't follow her, and I still know her.
I get it, and she definitely doesn't have a typical teenager body. Like, she's very full figured and curvy, and it's funny. She hasn't shown her modern mammalies officially yet, but she's done a lot of thongish and in this before I get into the scene, what do you call those kind of underwear she's wearing? It's not a thong per se, correct? Would you call those thongs?
No, that's a cheeky. That's a cheeky. It is technically a thong because it goes up the ass, but because the top is so thick and it kind of covers part of the butt cheek, it's called a cheeky. When it's just, it goes up the butt is totally out, but there's fabric on top. It's like a boy short that goes all the way up the ass, but it's not really a boy short. It's an illusion.
I got you.
It's actually, it was created to make the butt look bigger and better. And I have to say, it works wonders. So, I
think it's a perfect underwear for her because there's a scene. Now, there's two things I want you to note, and one we've already talked about. So she gets out of bed. She's with this guy. She gets out of bed and jumps up and she's wearing the cheekies and a half gray t-shirt with no bra. So she picks up this shorts and throws them on, but the shot of her butt is what everyone's focused on when you're looking at this. But if you slow it down, no pun intended, if you slow it down, check out the pic we grabbed of what I'm going to call the best underboob I could remember ever seeing of a celebrity in a movie or television, and it's definitely going to win the Anatomy Award for best underboob. And if you don't know what underboob is, it's where you could see someone's breasts looking up the shirt from down. And as she bent down in that gray t-shirt and no bra, that's a half shirt, you get an incredible underboob. But if you were watching it, Andrew, when you're watching it in real time,
you're just looking
didn't notice it. Yeah, it was so quick. But we, of course, at the Mr. Skin Labs grabbed this, and I just love this, and I wanted to share it with you.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like when you talk about it, it's like, oh, big deal. But when you look at it, it's like, whoa, you can see the whole things. Because at first, too, because of the lighting, you see the left underboob. Yeah. And then you zoom in, and then you see the whole right boob. Yeah. I really feel like if, we did some enhancement on this picture, we could actually probably see some under nipple from the bottom, too, on that right titty.
Well, we tried.
You know what I mean?
Tried. Yeah, it's tough. It's just happened so quick.
Yeah, this and how good this is.
And the other thing is just a lesson here. Like when you're 20 years old and have natural boobs that big, you could wear a half shirt and they don't hang to your knees. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's really incredible that youth is a beautiful thing because, when she's 50, there's no way that's going to be the same look. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nature provides its own bra is what I'm saying. So yes.
You're amazing. I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, the name of the movie is called The Last Movie Star. Ariel Winter, Alex Dunphy from Modern Family, not only in her cheekies, which is almost like a thong, but a great and one of the greatest, if not the greatest underboob shot I've ever seen. So we'll be talking more about that for the Anatomy Awards.
Excellent. Now, I'm really curious about this next movie that you want to talk to us about.
Yes. Well, let me start by saying that the next movie I wanted to get to came out March 30th on VOD. It's called Love After Love, and it stars Andie MacDowell, who plays a mother of these two older sons. So she's 59 years old in real life. So her sons...
In real life? Okay.
Yeah, her sons are in the movie are in their like late mid-20s, maybe early 30s or whatever. So... the movie's about, so her husband, who she was happily married to, dies. And it's about how the sons deal with the trials of, their dad dying, but also while watching their mom explore new beginnings of her own, right? Because she's...
Oh, I think we know what that means.
Oh, yes, we do. And what's key to this movie is Andie MacDowell is topless at the 50-minute mark. Now, these are not pictures from that. And it's... Oh, you know what? It's a mistake on my part here. The VOD's not out quite yet, but we have confirmation of this nudity because one of my guys saw it. It'll be out in a couple weeks, so I'm jumping the gun, but I could not save this. But from what my Skin Scouts tell me, the topless scene is really nice, and she looks great, as you would expect. And that happens at the 50-minute mark. But what was interesting is I saw an article at the New York Post, and the headline of the article was, "Why Andie MacDowell Did Her First Nude Scene at Age 59." And immediately I knew that they had missed something, but there's a reason for it. So I wanted to explain this. So she did a nude scene for this crappy movie called Ruby Cairo. It's also known as Deception, which came out in 1993. Now, they filmed the movie was 106 minutes. And then for whatever reason, for the American release, they truncated it to 90 minutes, and the nude scene got cut. Okay, so to make a long story short, the cut version, which was brutal to watch because all these important plot points were cut out, but also the nude scene was cut. So there was really no reason for anyone to give a crap about this movie. So the movie existed, but then a couple years later, the movie was re-released on DVD in Germany. And those zany Germans restored the full version, including the nude scene. So, we, of course, at MrSkin.com own a copy of the German DVD, and it actually has the nude scene. So you could see Andie MacDowell in bed. It's a dark scene. It's not like a super great scene, but you could see it, Andrew. You could see Andie MacDowell's boob, and this is her at the top of her game. This is right around the time that Groundhog Day came out, so she was like bigger than big when this happened. Though no one knows about this nude scene because you have to have the German DVD. So my Skinternational division came through with that, but that's a cool little backstory on that. But this Love After Love is the new Andie MacDowell movie that will soon be available, and you could see her topless, but it is not, Andrea, her first nude scene.
Now, I got to ask you though, did you contact the New York Post and let them know? Because I mean, I would want to let them know, like, hey, you have a correction to make, and here's whatever. And
say? Hey, you weird perv! You're the only guy that would know this. No one else gives a crap. But this is important stuff.
I think it's important because people need to be factual. No fake news, Skin.
Yeah, that's true. That's me. So anyway, it's a cool story, and so we could see that's hot off the press. Andie MacDowell nude in her upcoming movie.
And now it's time for our Cam Star Spotlight of the Week. We have Bianca Tusher from StreamMate.com. And I got to ask you, girl, with a name like that, why not embrace the Tusher?
The Tusher. Well, I don't know, the Tush. I always said Tush. It's cute. It has been like the burden this whole time. Like you say push and you say rush, but you don't say tush or tush. Like there's something with the English language and the consonant.
The English language is messed
The letter
up.
T and the S. I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
So just for the record,
I just wonder if it should be tusher
it's
and not
Tusher.
tusher.
It's Tusher. Let's not get it twisted. So how long have you been on Streammate?
I'm approaching my 4th year. My 4th cam-anniversary is coming up in April.
I love that
I like
cam-anniversary.
cam-anniversary.
Yes. We
never
might
heard
steal
that.
that. We've never
Yes.
heard that. We've talked to a lot of girls.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Skin, are you noticing what I'm noticing?
Yes.
Are those real?
No. What? Unfortunately, they're not.
They're
They're the
fantastic.
most amazing.
I would have bet money those
Yeah.
were real.
My doctor is world-renowned, famed from Miami.
You just turned your headlights on, by
I
the
know,
way.
Yeah.
No, she was completely flaccid nipple, and she touched her boobs, and they went. Bing.
Yep.
They like to perform too. They show up.
That's
when
a
they need
skill
to.
set that not many women have, because she literally went 0 to hero in 1 second.
0 to hero.
I wish I could do that. You know, it takes me so much work to get my nipples hard. I'm so
you got a
jealous.
soda can. She's got
Yep.
eyes. She's rubbing.
I'm like, blow on my ear, do something.
That was effortless.
That was
Thank
effortless.
you.
So
Thank
tell us
you.
about these
Yeah.
amazing boobs.
Gosh, these boobs. My boobs are older than my webcam career. I've had these boobs for almost 10 years now.
Well, they look amazing. What? How big are they? Are they a double D?
Well, you know, I've been saying they're C cup for a long time.
No
That is
way.
not a goddamn
but yes,
C.
it has been up for debate. Widely
It's
up
a
for
master debate.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think now that I'm a little bit thicker, that my boobs got a little thicker too.
Well, they are amazing.
When I bought them, they were a C cup. So
So let's talk about your 4 years camming. Tell me about it. What do your fans like the most? What is your most requested stuff?
oh god, I think people like me because I'm just friendly girl next door almost. I go from just like you said, I look friendly, and then in a second I can switch it up and it's naughty real fast.
I love that.
I think they like that. That like you can approach me. I'm super approachable, but in the end we turn up the heat.
Girl, I'm talking kinks and fetishes here.
Oh,
do
gosh.
I could see you looking really hot in some bondage gear.
Yeah, but my claim to fame, let's just get graphic here, is my fat pussy. So
Okay, now,
Whoa.
let's break this down, because what
be
exactly
honest.
is a fat pussy? Does it literally mean that your lips are plump?
it's the outer. Yeah, it's like the outer. Yes, you can grab it and squeeze
Now,
it.
did you have that when you were?
I do like
I
squeezing
did. I
pussy.
had it growing up, and I used to not embrace my fat pussy. I thought there was something going on here. I didn't know what this was.
I'm so dying to see it right now.
I know.
This is why we can't come to AVN
You can find me on
and
Streammate.com.
do these things in person, because I am such a perv. I'm like, can I see it?
Yeah, I have like 50 tags almost of fat pussy.
Okay, so I want to get a visual image, because I'm not going to ask you to drop your pants right now. How were you shaved?
Oh, I have a nice little lens strip. My pussy's way too fat to be bald. I think it looks weird. So yeah, I have like a nice little, and it's very trimmed.
I love it. So guys like your fat pussy. You obviously love squeezing it and playing with it.
slapping it, smack it. Yeah.
There's nothing
Now,
that beats
after Donald Trump to grab a girl by the pussy, I throw that in there every now and then. I grab it.
So aside from having the bomb fat pussy, what else do your fans love to do with you?
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, all of the things. Yeah, we twerk it out. We work it out. Yeah, just getting naughty. Oh, I don't know. Just everything. I mean, I'm pretty well-rounded on the
She's
webcam.
a Jill
yeah.
of all
Did your pussy
trades.
lose weight? Like what? How did?
No, I was worried about that too, because I used to be, maybe that's why I was freaky. I used to be bigger when I was younger, and then I lost weight, but the fat pussy remains the same. We're blessed.
I gotta see
I
this
know.
thing. So you're saying
soon
I go
as this
to,
interview's
you're
over.
saying I go to streammate.com
Yeah.
and then search for Bianca Tusher,
Yeah.
and then I can see the fat pussy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Done.
Me and Skin are going to go exclusive. Now, here's a question for you. If two people are in the same room, let's say me and Mr. Skin are like a couple or whatever, and we want to watch you together, can we watch you as a team for the same price?
Yeah, as long as you're in the same room together.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Because we're going to be be in someone CP's room later on the cam.
Yes.
Boom. Yeah.
Boom, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, that is wild. Now, of course, Mr. Skin is a connoisseur of celebrities getting naked. What celebrity do people tell you look like the
I get
most?
it every day. Charlize Theron. I get it every day.
Yes.
Like, more than once a day. Especially, I didn't used to have this hair. I cut all my hair off, and ever since I did that,
It's hot.
It's extreme. Thank
It's
you.
hot.
So I get Scarlett Johansson a lot, and then Charlotte.
Yeah.
I'm their lesbian love child. It's Scarlett and Charlize.
Yeah, but you're taller though. You're taller, so you're more Charlize to me. Yeah.
Louder.
It just got real loud. You know
Yeah.
what? We're at AVN. It's wild. And I don't want to blast your ears out, so we'll let you go. But
Thank you
just
so
know,
much.
it's Bianca Tusher, not Tusher.
Like Usher. Like
she's
Usher
got-
with a T.
And she's got a fat pussy with a minimal busher.
Which I'm dying to see.
Which we're going to go see.
minimal
So,
busher.
on that note, we'll be back. Bye.
Thank you.
One other thing, and I know we've talked about this because when you see the pictures, you won't forget them, but Half Magic is out on Blu-ray. It came out last Tuesday, the day after we taped our last podcast. So Half Magic, that's that movie that is written and directed by Heather Graham. It's about female empowerment, and it's where not only does Heather Graham show brief breasts, but she has a scene that is so freaking hot, and you could see it where she has the headphones on, the tank top, and she's stirring the pudding, has her hands down her underwear. It is so freaking hot, and it'll definitely win. If something else wins best masturbation scene, I'll be blown away. But it's so good. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, but the real highlight, surprisingly, you got the Heather Graham masturbation. So you think, well, that's your go-to for this movie, but no. If you're a fan of The Office, Angela Kinsey, who played Angela, the accountant in The Office, has a full nude scene. And you and I talked about this about 6 weeks ago when we saw it on VOD, that there definitely looks like fake boobs because there's no way a 46-year-old could have breasts that are that firm, but what a
On
great
top,
butt and everything else. Like, people were I saw on message boards and stuff going crazy about who knew Angela the accountant on The Office had such a killer butt.
Who would know? And she's teeny weeny. Like, I'm looking at her body, and it's like the first word that pops into my mind is just spinner. You know,
right?
She looks like she's like maybe 5 feet.
I don't know what her height.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know what her height and weight is, but it's pretty cool. And that scene happens at the hour and 28-minute mark of Half Magic. So whatever. So we're like really digging this and happy that it's out on Blu-ray. So what do you say? Half Magic will make you want a David Copperfield. So yeah. So anyway, we're really excited about that. CP just hit me up on the chat that she's 5'1", according to IMDb, but let's always subtract 1 or 2 inches because nobody ever does their true height and weight, so
probably,
yeah, she's probably about 4'11". But anyway, so the movie's called Half Magic. It's new, and so there was a lot of cool movie stuff to get to. I wasn't able to get to it last week with all the TV stuff, but Andrew, that doesn't mean there's not great TV things to talk about. So
let's hit it. Hit it.
Well, let me get to the TV stuff, and let me start with I know you are a big reality TV fan, but I also know that you're probably not you were not sitting around wondering what's happened to Nicole Snooki Polizzi.
No, not at
Jersey Shore.
Let's make it clear. I've never watched Jersey Shore.
You never have,
ever.
Yeah.
And no desire. But of course, there's the freak factor curiosity. So what has Snooki done now?
Well, okay. So Jersey Shore was on and I thought it was longer when it started, but back in like 2009.
No, it just seemed longer because it was. I mean, when something's obnoxious to you, it's like, oh God, there it is again.
Yeah, well, it was a very popular franchise from 2009 to 2012 was the original Jersey Shore. And then when that ended, I think it was from right after that, she did that Snooki and JWoww show. And it was like, those were like the most popular MTV shows, the first one especially by far in the history of MTV. So as far as original programming. So these were big money makers for MTV. And now so that JWoww show ended in 2000, the Snooki and JWoww show ended in 2015. And now they have this new show, which debuted I think it was last Thursday, on MTV, called Jersey Shore Family Vacation. And they did
and this is new?
Yeah, it's a new show, and they did episode 1 and episode 2. It's all the same cast, mostly the same cast of characters. And
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so they get together. They're headed to Miami for some fun in the sun. And like I said, they aired episode 1 and 2. So in the first episode, Snooki is wearing all these tops with her big boobs. You know, she's another one that's really small, but her boobs are huge. So, okay, now you and I have talked about this a lot, but it's a weird thing on cable television. You can show ass on MTV, and we'll get to this on Bravo too, and they're fine with it. But if a nip pops out, they got to blur it. It's the craziest thing. And they'll show graphic, great butt scenes, but then like in Snooki's case, there were 2 or 3 instances, Andrea, in the first couple episodes where her areola or part of her nip like popped out of her dress because she's not wearing a bra, and they totally pixelated it. Can you see it in these pics?
Oh, absolutely. And it's so funny because at first I'm like, okay, did they use a dark pixelation, or is that the color of her areola?
I know, Snooki's cookies. I was thinking like, is that an areola? But no, it was the pixelation over her boob. So it's kind of weird. It's hot though, because you kind of could fantasize that those are like her areolas, but it's the pixelation. You know what I'm saying? So anyway.
Yeah, she's a nip slipper for sure. Chronic nip slipper, that one.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Now, like I said, they have this show on MTV called Shannara Chronicles, and it's a teen sci-fi show. And they've shown butt on that show. So MTV will show. So here's the thing. Let's say Snooki takes a shower, does something, and shows her full butt. Will they show that on, this new show, Jersey Shore Family Vacation?
I think they will.
Yeah,
I think they will.
So too.
I do.
I hope so. And anyway, so I want to see Snooki's butt.
You're
That's
so
all I can
funny.
tell you. Yeah. So anyway, and I don't know if they'll ever show Snooki, but at least some butt and boobs, and we'll be good. Now, on that same subject, that Vanderpump Rules, which I talked to you about last week. Remember that Lala Kent the girls all went skinny dipping, and Lala Kent showed butt, and it was really graphic.
Really good.
Look at this scene. If you're flipping channels...
I'm so confused. Well, I'll explain why, but go on.
Well, okay. Let me get into... So, Vanderpump Rules, Season 6, Episode 17 on Bravo. So, last week were the girls in Mexico skinny dipping, the Lala Kent, great butt shot, and a bunch of the girls. Great stuff. Now, next week, Kristen... I think it's pronounced Dote or
Doty. Yeah.
Doty. Okay.
Doty.
She's 35 years old. I looked it up because I didn't know much about her because I don't watch the show. And then she's on the Mexican vacation continuing and all that. But she just goes and takes a shower in a clear, just as clear as day. It looks like an R-rated nude scene. And again, they pulled she's in a picture of her taking a shower in a glass box. And they do the weird thing where they pixelate the nips to turn her into a Barbie doll, and but they show full butt. And I got to tell you, I'm digging these nude scenes. Now, Andrew, there's a very subtle thing you have to look here.
Okay.
In a picture, it'd be easily to see, but when she has her back to the camera, you can almost pause it because we got a GIF.
Is it rear burger?
Well, here's the thing. They are on to me because on Bravo, they do a pixelation of the rear burger when her butt turns, and
these fuckers.
We were looking at this morning, and I was getting ready to do the show, and I was like, wait a second, did they pixelate rear burger? And they did. And so so we're gonna have fun with that later at the Anatomy Awards. So yeah, it's instead of a rear burger, it's a smear burger because they totally blocked it out. But it's really funny. So she must have been showing vagina from behind, and they blurred it out. It's pretty wild. But full butt, they don't. The full butt's totally visible.
And
Andrew, if you pause it right where her butt is where she's like holding, like her left arm is over her right shoulder, and you pause it there. You could see what they
I'm looking
did.
right at it.
You could see how they pixelated or blurred out Rear Burger. So they're on to me, because that would have been like an incredible find from Kristen Doty on Vanderpump
Here's why
Rules.
I'm confused about this scene, because I've watched tons of stuff on Bravo. I've been on Bravo. I've been on VH1. All this stuff as far as reality is concerned. The one place they don't film you is in the shower or on the toilet. So I'm wondering, I'm now thinking like this show is super staged, and it's really making me upset. But who gives a hell? Like, we're not here to discuss that. The nudity, staged or not, we're seeing her in the shower. And
let me tell you. Let me put it to you this way. Here's how I look at it. If this scene, even with the nips pixelated, if this scene was a movie, it would be R-rated.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So you're getting
even
R-rated
the drying
nudity.
off with the towel. She's drying her cooch off. Like she has no shame. I will say, being familiar with this cast of everyone on the show, Kristen has no shame. So
well, she's got a hell of a body. So anyways, here's the thing. I don't watch these shows. I've always told you that I'm not a Bravo guy, but I'm getting more and more blown away by these milfy, hot babes doing these nude scenes. I'm just digging it. And we have that thing in our office where, my guys are going and girls are going through all these movies and television shows. I anxiously await the updates on these shows, kind of fast forward to the good, because of nudity. I'm really digging it. So if you didn't see, that was episode 17 of season 6, episode 17, season 6 on Bravo.
Lots of episodes.
Yeah. Great Kristen Doty. The last 2 episodes especially have been awesome on Vanderpump Rules. So check that out. A couple other things too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I always forget he's going to throw a wheel of skin at me. Okay. Well, this is, of course, the point of the show where CP, the EP, spins the wheel, and we have over 28,000 actresses and counting at MrSkin.com. And whatever name comes up, he throws at me, and I try to give you a skinography. I, of course, for Wheel of Skin, and Pat say jack off. You are.
I'm Badger One.
All right. And this is American Griffin production. And I really like this, because CP throws an actress at me, and it's fun for me to kind of riff on her skinography. So CP, go ahead and spin the Mr. Skin Wheel of Skin. All right.
And we have Mamie Van Doren.
Whoa. Do you know who Mamie Van Doren is, Andrea?
No.
Oh, my God. Well, let me educate
Fill me
you.
in, please.
She's about, if I had to guess, 86, 87 years old. She was actually
I love how you think I would know.
Well, but she's historic. She was discovered by Howard Hughes.
I'm going to Google her.
Okay, well, Google her while I'm talking to you, because she was discovered by Howard Hughes, and she was a big sex bomb 1950s babe, because there was like, there were 3 M's at the time. There was Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield, and Mamie Van Doren. She was like one of those blonde bombshells. So those were the 3 M's. Those were the 3 babes. Obviously, Marilyn Monroe was head and shoulders above, but Jane Mansfield and Mamie Van Doren were there because of the success of Marilyn Monroe. And she, I think she, if I'm not mistaken, she got the name Mamie because Mamie Eisenhower was the first lady, and it was a play.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it was a play on, she took that from the first lady, Mamie. But anyway, you worked at Playboy. She actually posed in Playboy in the early 60s. She had a movie that came out in the probably 63 or 64 called 3 Nuts in Search of a Bolt. And it was very graphic. It caused a lot of controversy because this was just after Jane Mansfield had come out with Promises, where she was very naked. Mamie Van Doren, there's a scene in there where she's getting a beer bath and she's talking to this guy, and she's nude in beer. And it's a very sexy scene, but it's very strategic. It's not like how Jane Mansfield was in Promises. But for many years, I would watch that and be like, wow, that's as close as like Mamie Van Doren ever came the movie nudity. Now, she did do the Playboy stuff, but I'm talking about in a movie where you could see it. Well, then, this was this blew me away. So about 3 or 4 years after I start MrSkin.com, I think it was, maybe it was like 2002, she did a movie called Slackers with there's a bunch of people, but Jason Schwartzman. There's a famous scene. Now, Andrew, she was 71 years old. She's in a hospital, and she plays this like horny old woman, 71 years old. She opens her thing in the hospital on the bed, and Jason Schwartzman has to give her a, what do you call it, like a sponge bath? And it's a hilarious scene. It happens about 34 minutes into the movie. And I got to tell you, when I saw that, I was blown away that Mamie Van Doren had breasts that spectacular at 71 years old. You got to go to our website and check it out.
Yeah, I need to see this.
Yeah, it's called Slackers. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, in the last couple of weeks, they've re-released that movie on Blu-ray, so you can enjoy them in even better quality. But so she hasn't done a lot of nudity, and her best nude scene, she was 71 years old, but she's still a favorite of mine, and she's part of that 3M. She's iconic, and she's part of that 3M's, Monroe Mansfield and Mamie Van Doren. So great question, CP. I love it. And a great spin of the wheel of skin, Mamie Van Doren. So.
And I feel like I now learned a piece of history. I mean, she was and actually is very, very, very beautiful. I'm shocked. I don't know who she is now.
Yeah, and she's still alive because she's got to be 87 or so, 88 years old.
Oh, yeah. She's still hitting it. I mean, I totally looked her up online. She's still hitting red carpet, still full sex kitten. Like she's not toning it down because she's aging. You know what I mean? She's like full glam. I mean, it's almost
she goes to glamour conventions because she's very pop. She's a big attraction. People like to take pictures with her and get her autograph. Because think about it, if Marilyn Monroe was still alive, she'd be about the same age. So they'd be. I know. Same with Jane Mansfield. So anyway. Great question, because I'm a big fan of the old movie stars too.
Good spin, CP. Good spin on the wheel.
Good spin. All right, there's a couple more TV things I wanted to get to, and one this is going to blow your mind, and I want to share this with you. So there's a show called
what the hell is this?
There's a show called. There's a couple more. So there's a show called Trust. On FX. It's it's about the kidnapping of John Paul Getty III. He was heir to the Getty oil fortune in 1973.
Interesting.
I read a great article on Crime Feed by Mike McBeardo McPadden on this a couple of weeks ago because of the show coming out. And I really loved his article because I knew about this. It's a famous thing. So and
where can we find that article? I'd love to read it.
Crime Feed is what it's called.
Okay,
Crime Feed. And I literally just read this a couple of weeks ago because they have this new show on FX about this kidnapping. So Jean Paul Getty III was heir to the Getty oil fortune, and he got kidnapped by these guys who the mafia kidnapped him, and his grandfather at the time was the richest man in the world, and he was just a party playboy guy with a lot of babes. So it's a cool premise for a series on FX. So the show's called Trust, but here's what I wanted to get to. They've had, in the third episode on FX, they had these twin sisters, Laura Bellini and her twin sister, Sarah Bellini, who both not only get naked, but make out with each other. Yes, they make out with each other. It's weird. And I should mention, before you get too excited if you're watching this on FX, the FX TV show did not show the nudity. You got to go get the streaming version.
But they showed the incest?
Yes, the incest was totally fine. Skincest. Where if you go to Amazon Amazon or iTunes, this exact scene where you see Laura Bellini with John Paul Getty III, like where you could see her boob. If you saw it on FX, it was a different you don't see her breasts. So please, if you want the nudity, get it streamed from Amazon or iTunes, or go to MrSkin.com, where we, of course, grabbed it. But the bigger news was that I'm looking at this and I'm like, why are those? I'm looking at the names of the girls and I'm asking my guys, I'm like, well, wait, they're making out. How could you make out with someone with your exact same last name? And they said, no, they're twin sisters in real life. So I don't know what's going on, but it brings up a famous moment in sister history where, and this has a Playboy connection too, Madeline Collinson and Mary Collinson were twin playmates from October of 1970. Okay. And they did a movie the year before in 1969, no pun intended, called Some Like It Sexy. Andrea, if you watch this, because I gave a little showing to the guys in content, we were watching the scene. I go, guys, they are having full-on lesbian, total nude sex, and they are real life twin sisters, and it's in a movie called Some Like It Sexy. You'd only do this in the 60s or 70s, by the way. It's a real thing. Yeah. And that to me was the most graphic girl thing, sister thing ever. But now the Bellini sisters are on the list. So I don't know if I can make a playlist about that. I want to call that out. But isn't that crazy? And that really happened in a movie called Some Like It Sexy from 1969.
I mean, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how do you say it? Yes. But yeah, so anyway, that is a show called Trust about John Paul Getty. So we're excited about that, but definitely get the streaming version on Amazon. A couple other last things. The Looming Tower on Hulu. That's, they're in their first season, 8th episode I wanted to talk about. It's about the rivalry between the CIA and the FBI that may have caused the 9/11 tragedy. Remember the big thing where they weren't sharing information and all that. And by the way, I have a looming tower in my pants when I saw this, because they have Annie Parisi, who I've always been a big fan of. She was on Law and Order for a while. She played Alexandra on there. And she had, in the 8th episode, she was having sex with Jeff Daniels, and she shows a great breast shot in there. And they had some nudity in episode 3 and different things. So there's been nudity. I just haven't talked to you about it on the show, but it's from Hulu. Hulu sometimes releases all of them at once. Sometimes they do it episode by episode. This one they're doing episode by episode, but it's called The Looming Tower. And this Annie Parisi, who you might know from Law and Order, she was in the Nicolas Cage movie National Treasure. Okay. I'm a big fan of hers. Happy to see her doing nudity on this show. So check it out, Looming Tower on Hulu. And Andrea, last but not least, I wanted to get into a show called Famous in Love, which is in their second season, episodes 1 and 2 on Freeform. And you say to me, what the hell's Freeform?
What the hell's Freeform?
It used to be ABC Family, and they kind of rebranded it because they had these like sexy shows where you can't put this on ABC Family. So we're all over Freeform, and it's about Bella Thorne stars in it. She plays a kind of a complete unknown who vaults into stardom, and it's about her life and all that. And but in the first and second episode, there were a couple cool moments. This Gigi, Amanda Booth, is a cute girl trying to have a fling in rehab, and she's is in a bikini. But I just wanted to point out, and I thought this was really sexy, this Perry Reeves got out of bed and she's in her underwear. You would know Perry Reeves. She played Ari's wife in Entourage. Do you remember on Entourage? Yeah. So I've always been a big fan of hers. Now, she's in her bra and panties. She's in her late 40s, but I think she's super milfy hot.
Yeah, for sure.
Really hot underwear scene. If you want to see Perry Reeves naked, check out a movie called Kicking and Screaming, where she's topless. Also, she did an episode of Red Shoe Diaries that was really hot in the late 90s.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Big Perry Reeves fan. And she looks great in underwear. The show's called Famous in Love on Freeform. And Andrea, what a week in nudity.
What a week. I'm loving the fact that like this show that we just talked about, the Famous in Love, they're like trying to hook up in the rehab, and the clips I'm looking at are like the most crazy look. It looks like they're on vacation. Yeah. It's so funny.
Amanda Booth, and like you're in rehab and a girl's walking around in a bikini, you'll be like, oh,
I'm like, geez, fuck, maybe I should start injecting some stuff so I can go vacation there with these hotties. Totally joking. No, but I learned a lot on today's show. I mean, like, it was actually very educational.
Yes.
For me.
Well, yeah, you learned about Mamie Van Doren. Burt Reynolds.
It's like, listen, Burt Reynolds is in his 80s. Who the fuck knew that? You confirmed Andy McDowell has done some nudity, and you have the movie and the clips to prove it all. And Skin Cest actually leaves me
Skin
completely
Cest.
speechless.
Skin Cest, yes.
So it's like I learned a lot about the show, myself, what's going on in the world of nudity.
Yeah.
And if I need a rehab, I can go to a glorious vacation home in Malibu.
We may change that to Twincest because we had a lot of
Twincest.
Yeah, Twincest. Yeah.
And it's not like you advocate that.
Yeah. No, but it is one up from Skincest. So Twincest. Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah.
Well, what a totally fun show. It was great catching up. We had so much to get to. We got it all in. You nailed it. And we learned all about the third M and the triple M's of the, famous first sexy ladies of all time. So really great show. Episode 92. So we'll see everyone next week and we'll bring you more nudity.
You got it, Andrew. Take care.
This concludes another scintillating episode of the Mr. Skin Podcast. Subscribe to the Mr. Skin Podcast in iTunes and never miss a show. Thanks for listening.